G'day, hi, and welcome. Alright, what you're looking at here is my Czechoslovakian copy of the 1713 Stradivari. Or is it? Now, I bought this thing a couple of years ago, about 2 or 3 years ago, I guess, maybe less, for about 75, 80 bucks or 85 bucks as a fixer-upper. It really didn't need anything. It was pretty much just put in new strings and refit the bridge and refit the pegs, and everything was good to go. And it sounds okay. Now, it didn't really have any real problems with it. The sound post was on the wrong side. That was the only thing that was kind of odd about it. But other than that, it has a soft kind of sound, and it's been kind of playing, the sound, the more you play an older violin, it seems, I guess, when they sit for a long time, this thing was stuffed in a basement from a luther, so it was, all the dust and everything gets into the pores of the wood, so it takes time to get all that, to loosen all that up, but the sound of it comes out more and more every time you play it, kind of thing, and over years' time, it actually sounds okay. Although I have cheap strings on it right now, it's okay. But however, strangely enough, it's one of the best violins I've ever played in the sense of for fitting my hand. Maybe not the best sounding one, and I'm definitely anything but I'm a guitar player who plays violin, and most people can pick that out during my playing. I've been awarded the honor of the Screeching Cat masterpiece, that type of thing. And I never thought much of this little violin other than I enjoy playing it, and I've had no problem with it. And it seems to do everything it's supposed to do. And it's not a bad-looking little violin. But then I was informed of something very dark and sinister I was not aware of. And from the making of this video, about last night or the night before, I received an email. And this was kind of a heated warning about the cursed 1713 Stradivarius. And I'll just read it for you. The letter goes to read like this, or email, should I say. Yes, the violin is entirely authentic. It is one of the most earliest and worst examples of Stradivarius's classical models, which is to say, a masterpiece compared to any other Cremonese maker of the time. And it's worth a considerable sum, although selling it which will surely result in calamity. Do not worry about the fittings, the pegs, fingerboard, tailpiece, saddle, button, bridge, etc., as they were added much later. The neck was modernized in the mid-1800s by the ill-fated luthier and collector Teepublic, whose fate is legendary. It was one of the two violins found in his hands in his cramped apartment in Turin. There was actually a race to destroy this violin when he died. The obsessive collector Freemason and Satanist Jean-Baptiste Villeneuve, inventor of the diabolical octobass, rescued it alongside arguably the most famous violin in existence, the 1716 Messiah Salabeu Stradivarius, which is on display to this day in the Ashmolean Museum of Oxford, or at Oxford. Passibet Anne was the name of Stradivarius's faithless third wife, who tortured him with her public affair with Joseph Granardi del Deju, whom she considered a superior maker. Antonio Stradivarius, or one of his sons, bitterly dedicated some of his lesser works to her in a fit of irony driven by economic necessity in his later fits of madness. Marked by his creation of the long model 1713 was the year she died. This violin is cursed and should be dealt with carefully. The only other 1730 Stradivarius in existence belonged to the doomed composer Joshua Hancock, who drowned in his bathtub after learning of the return of Halley's Comet in 1758. The Heaven's Gate cultists, who committed mass suicide in 1997, based their entire philosophy on the demented composers of this tortured genius. Banned by the church and only surviving in fragmented form as the occult opera known as The King in Yellow, this violin was thought lost after Villeneuve's death at the hands of an assassin hired by the notorious London firm A.B. and Hill and Sons, whose bows are coveted to this day. Under no circumstances should you attempt to play it, especially tuned between A29 and A41.2. Seek professional help, as merely abandoning, selling, or destroying the violin will result in dire consequences. Remove this public display at once, as there are orders of violinists in the world who would use it to the darkest ends. Avoid the damned Mercer and his ilk. There is a professor at Miskatonic University in Arkham, Massachusetts, named Derek Stanford, who may be able to help. I am truly sorry for you. Best of luck. Yeah, so that's the email that they left me. So kind of creepy, but very fascinating no matter how you look at it. As far as so far, I don't think the violin has brought me bad luck. And is it the real thing? I don't think it's the real thing. It looks a little too new and shiny, but then again, if it was cursed, maybe it would have some sort of youth spell on it or something like that, which would keep it from looking like it was aged when it's really aged when it's not looking aged, although it is aged. That's confusing. But anyway, no, a fun little tale. I didn't know the history of the 1713 Stradivari, and I have one. This did come from the Czech Republic, so I don't know if it was ever made its way to the Czech Republic, but if it did, this one did come from there, and I bought it in a little in the capital of Canada, Ottawa, in a little violin shop there, and yeah, I still have it. I was going to sell it, but I don't know. It's like I kind of, I guess maybe the curse is that now there's a story behind the 1713 Stradivarius. Now I know Stradivarius built approximately about 11 or 12, nearly 1,200 instruments, but yeah, it just goes with the legend of the story. I was not aware of the curse of the 1713 Stradivari. So if anything bad happens to me, though, just a little caveat: blame the violin. Maybe my bad playing, it's not me, it's the violin. So maybe that's the curse, is that people have to hear me play it. That could be, well, you know, anyway, I don't believe in curses. My playing isn't that bad. But anyway, just thought I'd bring this to you. You guys tell me what you think. Do you think it's just somebody was trying to get rid of it and it's the real deal, but it's just, they just try to, you know, get rid of it, and it's going to be a big treasure hunt for it now? I don't know. You guys tell me. That's my violin story. All right, have yourselves a great day, eh? And beware the 1713 Stradivari.